today, do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, First Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First Senator.
Do you have evidence? Yes or no?
First Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate that.
All
My
of our,
clock is ticking, and I want to
all
hear
of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're.
A tense and revealing moment unfolded on Capitol Hill as the Senate Judiciary Committee pressed President-elect Donald Trump's nominee for Attorney General, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. What began as a routine confirmation hearing quickly became a pointed examination of truth, independence, and the rule of law. If you value clear explanations of what's happening in Washington and why it matters, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss our continuing coverage.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I begin, I just want to remind us all for the record that the 34 convictions, not indictments, convictions of former President, incoming President Trump were by a jury of his peers. Thank you, Ms. Bondi, for being here today, and I too would like to welcome your family and friends who are here.
Thank you.
Appreciated the opportunity to meet yesterday to learn about your priorities and discuss a number of issues that are important to me. But I got to tell you, as I reflected on our conversation yesterday and as I've observed the hearing today, I continue to have significant reservations on your ability to function as a truly independent Attorney General for your friend. Let's say you keep referring to him, your friend, President-elect Trump. So I hope you can address some of these concerns through your responses to my questions here. Now, the first issue area is something that we didn't get a chance to touch on yesterday. So I actually want to follow up on some of Senator Durbin's questions from earlier about the 2020 election. And to be specific, on the day after the 2020 presidential general election, you traveled to Philadelphia to appear alongside President Trump's then attorney, Rudy Giuliani. And together, you falsely asserted that President Trump had, quote, won Pennsylvania in that election. Now, I want to be clear, at that moment, there were still at least 1 million ballots left to be counted in Pennsylvania. Of course, President Biden went on to win the state by more than 80,000 votes. But in the following days, even after the results were clear, you continued to double down on the big lie, promoting falsehoods about election fraud and cheating without offering any actual evidence. And I remember it clearly because I served as California Secretary of State at the time, and I invited anybody associated with the Trump campaign who was making these claims to come forward with evidence of irregularities in the election or massive voter fraud. 4 years later, I still have seen none. So I ask you today, do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, First Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First Senator.
Do you have evidence? Yes or no?
First Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate that.
All
My
of our,
clock is
I'll
ticking,
answer
and I
your
want to
question.
hear
All of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're facing right now. I'm glad you asked the question about Pennsylvania.
It's a yes or no question. Do you have evidence? Yes or no?
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence? Yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have the evidence? Yes or no?
I traveled, Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay. You're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election? Yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or no?
I didn't talk about California because I was not in California. I talked about...
Yes or no? Last time I'm going to ask.
I talked about Pennsylvania because I was there.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to move on because she's clearly not answering my questions. And I want to note, colleagues, for everybody, members of the committee and everybody watching, that the attorney who stood beside Mr. Giuliani was making very similar statements. And he has since been disbarred from multiple jurisdictions for making these false claims about the 2020 election in court. And like Mr. Giuliani, as you've noted today, you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution just as an attorney. And now you're asking us to consider you to serve as the chief law enforcement officer in our country? So it's imperative, Ms. Bondi, that you subscribe to facts and evidence and not politically convenient conspiracy theories. Your job will be, your job will be to protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic.
Senator, you were speaking. May I speak? You cut me off when I was speaking. When I ask you the next question, you can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi. Well, I'd like to answer the previous one, Senator.
When we met yesterday,
you pointed your finger at me and
you
said
did not
you were
seem
speaking.
to be familiar
Let me answer
with
my question.
the
I'm not going to be
Citizenship
bullied by you,
Clause, the
Senator
14th
Padilla.
Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you
And I'm
didn't want
hoping
to
you're
hear
more
my
familiar
answer
with it
about
today
Pennsylvania.
after I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed as Attorney
You're the one
General,
asking for a confirmation
hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
So on the 14th Amendment, now you've testified repeatedly to this committee that you will uphold the laws of this country and defend the Constitution of the United States. Do you believe birthright citizenship is the law of the land, and will you defend it regardless of a child born in the United States, regardless of their parents' immigration status?
Senator, I will study birthright citizenship. I would love to meet with you regarding birthright citizenship. Can I answer the
serve as the
question?
Attorney General of the United States, and you still need to study the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? That is not helping me have more confidence in your ability to do this job. One other immigration-related question, and I'll steer clear of the Constitution
have one
and the
regarding
law.
that I'd like to
Senator
talk about.
Hirona asked you earlier, but I don't think you answered her question. Can you please tell us, do you agree with the statement that immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, yes or no?
I did not say that.
I did not say that you said that. I'm asking if you agree with it, yes or no.
I did not say that.
Do you agree with it, yes
Senator,
or no?
my great-grandparents are immigrants.
Do you agree with it,
They
yes or no?
came here from Sicily
Do you agree
through
with it,
Ellis
yes or
Island
no?
when they were teenagers.
Do you agree with it, yes or no?
Senator, let me answer the question.
Yes or no? It's
My
real simple.
great-grandparents came here, immigrated to this country from Sicily, recently went and found each of their birth certificates. We are a nation made up of immigrants. Do I believe immigrants are poisoning our country? No, Senator.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I can't wait for the second round.
Same, Senator. Thank you. No, sir. Thank you.
The questioning came from Senator Alex Padilla of California, a former Secretary of State who once oversaw elections himself. From the outset, Padilla made clear that his concern was not personal but institutional. The Justice Department, he emphasized, is supposed to operate independently of the president, even when that president is a political ally or a personal friend. Padilla questioned whether Bondi, who repeatedly referred to Donald Trump as her friend, could truly separate loyalty from law enforcement. Padilla began by addressing a foundational issue that still looms large in American politics, the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election. He reminded the committee that Donald Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts by a jury, not merely indicted. That distinction, Padilla suggested, matters when evaluating credibility and accountability. But his sharper focus was on Bondi's role in promoting false claims about the 2020 election. That refusal became the point. Padilla noted for the record that when a lawyer makes claims of fraud without evidence, especially in court, there are consequences. He reminded viewers that Rudy Giuliani, who stood next to Bondi during those false claims, has since been disbarred in multiple jurisdictions. The implication was clear. Words spoken by lawyers, especially powerful ones, carry real weight and real responsibility. The hearing then shifted to constitutional law, specifically the 14th Amendment. Padilla recounted a private meeting from the day before in which Bondi suggested he should be familiar with the amendment. Now, in a public forum, he asked her to explain the Citizenship Clause, the section that establishes birthright citizenship in the United States. Rather than explaining the clause, Bondi declined, saying she was not there to do homework. While she acknowledged that the amendment addresses birthright citizenship, she stopped short of affirming that it is settled law or committing to defend it unequivocally as Attorney General. Instead, she said she would need to study the issue further. For Padilla, this raised alarms. Birthright citizenship has been recognized for more than a century, reaffirmed by courts, and embedded deeply in American law. A nominee for the nation's top law enforcement position hesitating on that point, he argued, undermines confidence in her readiness for the role. The exchange grew even more pointed when Padilla turned to rhetoric used by Donald Trump during the campaign. He asked Bondi whether she agreed with the statement that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. At first, Bondi deflected, saying she had not made that statement herself. Padilla clarified that he was asking whether she agreed with it. Bondi then offered a personal response. She spoke about her great-grandparents immigrating from Sicily and acknowledged that the United States is a nation built by immigrants. Finally, she gave a clear answer. No, she does not believe immigrants are poisoning the country. That answer marked one of the few moments of clarity in an otherwise evasive exchange, and it underscored the tension at the heart of the hearing. Bondi often spoke in broad values and personal anecdotes, while Padilla repeatedly sought concrete commitments grounded in law and fact. As the senator concluded, he made it clear that his concerns were not resolved and that he looked forward to a second round of questioning. This hearing was about far more than political theater. It highlighted unresolved questions about election denial, constitutional fidelity, and whether the Department of Justice can remain independent in a deeply polarized era. These confirmation hearings shape how power is exercised long after the cameras turn off. If you want to keep learning not just what happened, but why it matters and how it affects democracy, be sure to subscribe to this channel so you will continue to follow this nomination and break down every critical development with clarity and context. For now, the message from today's hearing is unmistakable. In the Senate, facts still matter. Evidence still matters, and the Constitution is not optional.